beautiful souls. Welcome to Soul Tales podcast with your friend Ankita Juneja, back again with another interesting episode for all of you. Before I move forward, I would like to request you, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and be part of this tribe. Your presence truly matters and it means a world to me. Today's episode is an interesting one, and especially for those of you who are finding it hard to take action, and if you're experiencing this perfectionism mode, then this episode will really help you to break the ice and keep going. I was reading a book, Big Magic, by Elizabeth Gilbert. And if you are connected to this tribe since a while, you might be aware that I love reading books. So my recent musing was Big Magic, and I have been reading this book in parts since quite some time. The interesting chapter which I came across today was Done is better than good. And yes, this was a reminder which I needed, especially when I was struggling and going through this phase myself, where I was feeling like not performing, not taking action. And if I tell you honestly, I have been in this zone since a while. I am seeing since some time I have to push myself to record podcast and my videos. And this is not an excuse to not perform, but I am finding a bit resistance to take action. But what I am doing instead is I'm just focusing and taking action despite that thought being so prominent, like let's take a break. I know I will be taking break soon, but as long as I'm able to perform and I'm able to record this podcast, I'm just doing it. And the chapter came at the right time, which just reminded me like done is better than good. What happens at times we just try to be perfect. We have always heard this like perfectionism is a killer to our creativity, and that is so true. Especially if you're a creative person, you will see that when you're not in the good spirit, you feel like not doing at all. Whereas you just have to keep taking little steps, if not taking a massive action, because taking a small action help you to build that momentum and keep going. For creative people, I have seen this becomes really a challenging phase, especially when creativity is not free flowing. But what I have found from my experience and my journey is, even when that creativity is not flowing, you have to push yourself a bit, but when you do it, you feel good again. Lately, mostly my podcast and my videos are just recorded one day prior to the date when it is actually supposed to release. I am going through such cut to cut timeline lately, but I have also seen like if I don't do this, if I don't make it happen, I'm all in my head and I don't like that energy. Until and unless I'm not performing and I'm not making it happen, I feel restless energy. And that is the reason I'm able to do it rather than just giving up on it. Each time I record podcast or video, I'm like, maybe now I'll take a pause, now I will take a pause. But one day prior, somehow I gain that momentum, I gain that energy. Despite me not being in that great energy, I just try to maintain that consistency, because at times I know how challenging it is to just, show up and just to perform, especially when that creative energy is not supporting you. At that point of time, what really helps you to keep going is you just take action. Because if you don't take action, if you don't tell your mind like, okay, let's just do it this time, it will be easy for you to give up. And that's why maintaining this consistency is also difficult. Yes, the key to success is consistency, but I can say you one more thing over here. Maintaining that consistency is not easy as well. That's why you might have seen like people start with lot of enthusiasm and energy, but along the way they give up, because this energy is a tricky energy. Sometimes that consistency is hard to maintain, and you will also see like maybe your creativity is not welcomed or supported the way it used to be. Maybe lot of situations will be against the grind. You might see like, okay, what is the point if things are not performing well? I have also seen like lately, I don't know why, the algorithm or what it is, my videos and my podcast were not performing that great. And it was like a cherry on the cake situation for me, where I was feeling a bit disappointed, to be very honest over here. And the reason I'm sharing this disappointment with you is because this is the truth of life. You will see that all things goes against when you're pushing yourself so hard, when you're trying so hard. It's like Yes, the evidence are also like just give up. But at that point of time, what really will help you is make sure that inner dialect which you're having is stronger than the evidence which you're seeing. Yes, it will be very easy for you to quit if you're not seeing the evidence. That's why not everyone becomes successful. The people who are resilient, who just don't rely on evidence, the people who rely on themselves are the one who become successful. At times your faith have to be much more stronger than your fear, because if you listen to that fearful voice which is trying to keep you safe, which is trying to protect you, you will see that somehow your faith is also losing. So it's mix of everything. You have to perform and let go of perfectionism, but also on the other side, when you're faced with lot of adversity, when you're faced with lot of challenges, at that point of time it is so important you find evidence to keep going. Like in my case, I have always seen, like whenever I feel like I don't want to do, I come across some article, some video, some podcast, or even a book where I again feel inspired to take action. Like today, the inspiration and that reminder was this book's chapter, like just keep going and keep taking action. And there was also this beautiful narrative over there where it was mentioned like when you are doing anything creative, and if you rely on that creativity to always guide you, you will see that at time that creativity doesn't flow. You have to have this discipline. If you are not disciplined, you will see that you will just give up. And most of the time my discipline is like on Monday my podcast have to come out, and similarly on Friday my videos have to go out. And this two discipline, this commitment helps me to keep going and keep taking action. Most of the time it is just a reminder like tomorrow is Monday or tomorrow is Friday, which just pushes me to go and perform. Many a times I have been in a bad health, bad position, but still, just because tomorrow is my commitment date to deliver my video or podcast, I just show up. I know at times I look so bad, I sound so ugly, but still I am like, okay, it doesn't matter. As long as I am taking action, I am consistent, and I am able to retain this thing, I'm like, I'm good. See, it's not just you who see my podcast or videos. I am the one who is also editing after recording my videos or podcasts. So firstly, it's me who go through all this, because at the moment I am the one who is also editing all this thing. So I myself can sense like, okay, what the energy is. But at times, even when things are not perfect, even if I know like this video or this podcast sucks, I sound so bad. At times I also know like I am all in my head and my podcast just sound like I don't even know how to speak. I know that also happens, but I just still perform, I still take action, and I'm like, okay, even if my mind is foggy, because understand one thing, I am in a creative profession. I am not scripting anything and talking to you. I am mostly talking from heart place, and I'm just delivering what needs to come out through me as a channeler, as a medium, and that's how I record my podcast and video. So if my mind is foggy, if something is going in my head, that will be reflected in my video and podcast, because this is not like a manual data, like you put some equation and this will be the result. So I also know at times like it is pathetic. To be honest, I want to accept this fact, like at times my podcast, my video really sucks. When I see myself, I'm like, what have you done? But one thing that just makes me feel good is, despite whatever was happening internally, whatever was happening around me, I at least took action. And all these vulnerabilities I'm sharing with you is because most of you might experience similar situation. It is very easy to tell yourself like, okay, I'm feeling this shit, so I don't want to perform. It is so hard to own that shit and still show up. Showing up is the crucial key over here, because if you don't show up, it's easy to give up, to be honest. And to be frank over here, no one gives a damn. There are tons and thousands of videos, podcasts out there. There are so many content out there for you. There is no loss for you guys. It's my loss if I don't show up. There won't be any content on my channel. So if you think like if you don't do this, something will happen to others, no, nothing will happen to anyone. No one gives a damn. It's just you have to be accountable for your own action. And as much as this episode is for you, it is also for me when I am going through hard days. Like, yes, all this thing happened, but this kind of podcast becomes a reminder to keep going, especially on the days when you're feeling like not performing, when you're feeling shit. It is easy for us, even me as a viewer, because I also consume content, to judge the creator or to judge other person. We don't know what they are going through, but if you put yourself in that shoe, you will realize like it is so hard for you to perform. And I also realized this thing when I actually started my own content creation journey. Before, I did not have this kind of an insight like what it really takes to make a film, what it really takes to even create a content, even a small content. But as I started doing this thing, now I really have immense respect and gratitude for the people who does this thing. Even my boyfriend is in the same profession. I know how hard it is for him to make the movies, how hard it is for him to perform. But now as I see him, I realize like, okay, it is so difficult, because we just see a 2 hours 3 hours film, but it takes years and years of hard work for that 3 hours movie which we see. So please have compassion and kindness for the people, even if they are not performing good, and also have this self-compassion. Even if you are not performing so great some days, have that compassion for yourself. No days are same. There will be highs and lows in everyone's life. Have that self-compassion for yourself and for others. Don't judge anyone, because it's easy to judge, but it is hard to be in that shoes of the person who is actually doing this thing. On a concluding note, I just want to say you one thing. Don't be critical on yourself. If you are experiencing harder days, you have more love from my end, more strength and compassion. You're never alone. We all go through this. Even I go through this. So firstly, don't stop doing what really matters to you, and just know that it's okay sometimes to not being perfect. It's better to get things done rather than being perfect. And whenever you are in that self-doubt, whenever you are experiencing hard days, and even I will come back to this episode just as a reminder, like, keep going, this shall pass too. I hope this episode was helpful to you some way or the other. Let me know in the comment section what do you think about this episode. I'm really looking forward to read your comment. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and be part of this tribe. It really means a world to me. I'm looking forward to connect with all of you in my next episode. Sending you lots of love and light. Signing off from my side. Until next time, keep shining bright. Bye-bye.